Camouflage. Hello, wonderful people. Today we have our iced coffee, about 400 milliliters of it, and we're watching What Will We Miss by the amazing Vsauce.
Hey, Vsauce, Michael here.
Hey, Michael.
And the year 6009 will be the very first
6009, that is a long time in the future.
year since 1961 that a year, when written in Hindu Arabic numerals, can be inverted and still look the same.
Interesting.
But you and I probably won't live long enough to enjoy the year 6009. Human lives just aren't long enough. We will miss out on that. What other cool future events will we be missing?
That's a very good point. The human lives are not that long in the grand scheme of things. Now, we are on the brink of making some breakthroughs and prolonging the human life, but even still, even if we achieve ideal, perfect biological immortality, we still die from getting hit too hard and from accidents, car crashes, from plane crashes, from viruses. I mean, we're still very squishy. We die eventually. And even if we reach biological immortality, best case, that's maybe a couple hundred years before we're just unlucky, plain and simple, in my opinion.
Well, first of all, you and I will probably be gone before the completion of the Time Pyramid in Vimding, Germany.
What's that?
It will eventually be a pile of 120 concrete blocks, but the builders are only adding one block every 10 years. Since beginning in 1993, they've added only the first 3. At this rate, the pyramid will be completed in the year 3183.
Dang.
The final block placed by our great more than 30 greats grandchildren. But even they will miss an opportunity to frolic and play safely in the Chernobyl exclusion zone.
Yeah, I forgot what the timeline is for that, but radioactive leakage and contamination is not something you want to mess around with.
The Zone of Alienation, where radioactive contamination from the 1986 disaster will remain at levels too high for safe human activity until not the year 4000, not the 5000s, not the 6000s. It will finally be safe probably in the year 22,000.
Wow.
Possibly within
20,000 years?
Within the next 1 million years, stars like Betelgeuse and Eta Carina will explode in brilliant supernovas visible from Earth.
Now that's actually really scary because we've watched the video from Kurzgesagt on supernovas, the damage that they can do to us. And if it's visible from Earth, I'm assuming he means with the naked eye, then it's visible, or it's close enough rather, to cause some real damage.
I'm bummed I'm probably going to miss out on these events because for a few weeks it will look almost as if Earth has 2 suns. Despite being hundreds, thousands of light years away, their supernovas will shine brighter than the full moon.
That's
at night
insane.
And be visible even during daytime.
That's so insane. Can you imagine actually being able to witness that? I mean, if it's pointed at us, it's really bad, but other than that, it'd probably look really cool.
But the real sky show comes in 3.75 billion years.
That's a long
Our
time.
galaxy is full of stars.
Ain't none of us living to see that. I don't care what advancements and technologies we have. That's just not happening.
Viewed from the surface of the Earth, they look like little drops of milk in the sky, which is why we call it the Milky Way galaxy.
Oh, is that how it got its name?
Galaxies are named after milk. Milk, lactose, lactic, galactic.
Where are you going?
Galaxies.
Ah.
And every drop of milk in the sky, every star that you can see is inside our galaxy, the Milky Way. But there's a blurry, distant shape. This one. It's not a star. It's not a cloud of gas in our galaxy. It is an entirely different galaxy.
That's Andromeda, right? And we're going to merge in the Andromeda Milky Way or Milky Andromeda or whatever they're calling it. That would be a spectacle to see. to be alive during that time period. Although I suppose in the course of a human life, well, Earth probably won't even be around then. The course of a human life, that movement is so minuscule comparative to our life that, I mean, it would still basically be like everything standing still from our perspective, right?
The Andromeda Galaxy, and it's 2.5 million light years away from our own. It contains twice as many stars as the Milky Way, and it is coming our way.
I didn't realize Andromeda contained twice as many stars as the Milky Way. That's kind of crazy.
Headed toward us at 300 kilometers a second, faster than a bullet. Now right now, the sky looks like this. In 2 billion years, Andromeda will have approached so closely that people will look up at the sky and see this. In 3.75 billion years, the night sky will be like a scene from a science fiction movie or an awesome desktop wallpaper.
Okay, that would look pretty cool.
Incredible. And kind of scary. After this scene, the sky will literally be glowing with the birth of new stars as the Milky Way and Andromeda collide, mixing up into a brilliant cosmic tie-dye. This simulation...
You know, that's something I hadn't considered. Because in my mind, space is just humongous, right? It's just big. I was thinking that the stars have a very high likelihood of just passing through each other, right? Because they're all spaced so much that they would pass through and the two galaxies would pretty much collide without too much happening, other than the gravitational pull messing everything up from the two different, supermassive black holes. But I thought it would be mostly unimpeded. You'd have the odd collision here and there, but mostly things just passing by each other. But I suppose with all the, everything having its own gravitational pull and whatnot, things are probably bound to collide a lot more than I was initially thinking. And as the big plumes of gas get heated up from the collisions of other plumes of gas and stuff, yeah, that could potentially be really cool.
Shows how Andromeda might collide with the Milky Way, but keep in mind that you are watching billions of years pass every second. These galaxies are moving fast, but they're also huge and covering even huger distances.
That's the thing about talking about this. Both the speeds that we're talking about and the sizes that we're talking about are completely inconceivable to us. We can throw numbers out there all day long, but at the end of the day, our brains just cannot wrap around these numbers. It's meaningless to us. We'll never get that scale or that scope. We'll never truly understand it.
They will collide in the future, but within the briefness of a single human life, they appear almost frozen.
That's what I was saying before, was in a human life, it's pretty much static. Things are moving fast. But from our perspective, from our viewpoint of say 80 years or whatever on average, nothing's happening as far as we can see pretty much.
Unmoving. A couple billion years after colliding, the cores of both galaxies will be married together in a bright glowing center. Earth, now a stepchild to what was once Andromeda, part of a new, bigger family called Milkdromeda.
Milkdromeda!
It would be so cool to be alive to see our galaxy colliding with another.
That's like telling us today that it's cool that we came from a certain gas cloud. It's cool, but it's so far in our past that it's kind of like, nyeh. Or, our continent came from the supermassive continent, Pangea. Cool, I guess, but it doesn't really matter all that much to me today because that was so long ago,
But don't get all FOMO, consumed by a fear of missing out. Because whatever life is around then will have plenty to envy us for. They may have spectacular nightly views, but secretly wish they'd been born in our time to experience, say, the beginning of the internet.
That was fun. I remember pre-modern internet days, and that was a blast. I say very sarcastically, as I remember dial-up and AOL and floppy disks. Ugh.
They will actually miss out on a lot of things. Because the moon moves 1 centimeter further away from Earth every year.
Did not know that.
600 million years from today, the moon will no longer be close enough to Earth to completely block out the sun. Future humans, or descendants of humans, will therefore miss out on a chance to ever see for themselves the beauty of a total solar eclipse from the surface of Earth.
No way! That's insane! I did not know that the moon was moving further away from the Earth each year. Even if it's only by a centimeter, I mean, that adds up over time. So there will come a day when a complete solar eclipse is no longer possible. Knowing that makes me appreciate them more.
Long before Earth dries up, Niagara Falls will dry up. Well, not the water part, but the falls part. Every year, the rushing water of Niagara erodes the rock at the top of the falls 1 foot backward.
Really?
By the year 52,000, it will have eroded all the way to Lake Erie, and our progeny will have no Niagara Falls to enjoy.
That is a lot of erosion in a year. A foot? What kind of rock is that? Is that granite like they're talking about here? Is that something else? That just seems really excessive for a year. A foot. I mean, that's... Well, you know how long a foot is. That's crazy.
Granite has an erosion rate of about 1 inch per 10,000 years. So certainly by the year 7 million,
Wow.
Mount
That's more like it.
especially its faces, will no longer exist. And because they slowly get pulled in or ejected into space, in 50 to 100 million years, Saturn will no longer have its lovely rings.
Oh.
So life on Earth in the future might have awesome supernovas and galactic collisions to look forward to, but they probably won't have Niagara Falls, Mount Rushmore, total solar eclipses, or Saturn's rings. They also won't have you.
But that's the best part about right now, is I'm here. I mean, for me anyway, you probably couldn't care less, but for me that's the best part.
But you have you.
Mm-hmm.
Except not all of it. Babies don't begin to form episodic memories right away, meaning that you missed out on. You don't remember 2 of the most seminal events in your life.
That's true.
Your conception and your birth.
I'm also glad that I don't remember either of those events. I'm very grateful that they happened. I'm totally fine with not remembering those.
But you can experience a bit of those moments right now. First of all, when was I conceived.com lets you enter your birth date and get back the week your parents probably made you happen, as well as the #1 song and the #1 movie that week, which may have also been involved. Light travels quickly, the most quickest in fact, but it can take a photon millions of years to escape from the interior of the star it was created in through nuclear fusion.
I remember reading about that somewhere, and that absolutely blew my mind. That when you see sunlight, which we do every day, not only did that sunlight travel from the star, but chances are a lot of it actually took millions of years just to get out of the star. So the photon that you're absorbing into your retina could be millions and millions of years old, even if it's just from our sun.
It takes time, just like your own gestation in your mother's womb. Newly conceived photons struggle through a dense, stellar jungle of atoms and molecules and electrons that absorb and re-emit the photon, taking a little bit of energy from it as it randomly rolls around like a pinball. Sometimes, after thousands or millions of years, its random walk finally leads it to the star's surface, where it pops out into space.
That's
in
insane.
A way, is born. A lucky tiny percentage of the photons that reach the surface of a star find themselves on a path that will intersect with Earth. And if you are lucky, those photons will end their journey by being absorbed onto your own retina. If you enter the date of your birth or the approximate date of your conception into this online calculator, you can find a star that is as many light years away from Earth as you are old. When you...
That's such a cool idea! That is an amazing idea. Wow! Whoever thought of that's a genius. I'm definitely doing that after this.
look up at that star today, you are seeing light that left the star the very month you were born.
That's
or photons
crazy.
that left that star and entered space when your entire body was just one cell. Space is really big, and your life is very short. But space is so gosh darn big, you don't have to miss out on everything.
Yep.
And as always, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.